This is how tough they are.
Okay, so it is Monday morning and I released a video about this Range Rover on Friday evening, and amazingly that video got so much traction, grew legs and ran, that's for sure. I think over the weekend 260,000 people had watched it, so thank you to everyone who did and everyone who subscribed to the channel. It's not over yet. I thought I'd better do a follow-up video and also just get across a couple of points as well, which I wasn't quite so clear on the first time around. One of which being, when I mentioned that I own this car showroom, it is me and it's my wife, and it is just the two of us. We don't have any bigger team than that. It is just the two of us, and we do all of the preparations that we can in terms of valeting, polishing. Obviously we can't do the alloys, so we outsource that. Can't do any of the body work, so we outsource that. But everything we can do, we do. And also obviously a lot of collections, deliveries and running cars from workshops to workshops and things like that. So it is just the two of us, which means that we don't have an enormous amount of spare time to then be chasing up with actual court cases or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that we have been taken for fools completely. So when I obviously collected this car from Land Rover, I had also spoken to the technician on the phone. So my customer put me onto the phone with the techie and I says, look, I understand that what you're saying, but can you talk to me in layman's terms as to what it actually needs? And he kept just repeating, it's not safe. We can't advise that she drives the car like it is. It needs the brakes doing and it needs the wheels balancing. And it really puts the panic into my customer. That doesn't excuse, obviously, the lack of respect for the vehicle. So that obviously puts the panic into my customer. And no matter how much I try talking to her and saying, look, if they are saying it is as dangerous as it is, absolutely, we do need to get it sorted. But if they're saying it just needs the brakes bleeding, which again, I've been confused about because she didn't go in with a braking fault, and it needs the wheels balancing, we can get both of those done. It's not a problem at all. But they'd really, honestly, Virtue had got it into her head that we'd sold her a car that was just not fit for purpose, and that just simply isn't the case. I've driven this car myself personally. Why would I ever want to sell a car? My wife and I, why would we ever want to sell a car that's going to cause us a headache, let alone our customer? Because if it gets a customer a headache, it's going to give me a headache, and I like to live life as headache-free as possible. So I drove it to the MOT station. I know that they do a fantastic job over there, which is why we take our cars to that garage. They're very fair. If there are any advisories, we correct them. Any failures, obviously, they are corrected. But anyway, Virtue, unfortunately, they were involved. I didn't just take her at her word. I also spoke with Virtue, and they were the least helpful that they could have possibly been, just to try and fill some of their workshop time. And then moving on from that point, the sunroof. We do have pictures and video, obviously, of the sunroof before it went out as part of the advert, and of course it wasn't broken at that point. I just naively expected someone to respect the car that they've just bought, so thought, well, there's no way they've broken their sunroof, because who would? It must be an enormous amount of pressure to do so. So I didn't want to then go not believing a brand new customer of ours, but of course it would have transpired eventually that it did break after taking delivery of the vehicle. That's a real shame, because obviously it creates more of a headache for us going forward. Coming on to the financials of the situation, again, knowing full well that when I had the Range Rover back, they would be back in their BMW. There is a little bit of outstanding finance on the Range Rover. They didn't finance an enormous amount, but it is still under an agreement. And whenever you're doing a return, which I've never had to do before, but I do know that you do have the opportunity with the finance company, because they want to know why the customer wants to unwind the deal, and also is there any damage incurred onto the vehicle. So we had that in our back pocket when we agreed to do the swap back. The difference is I had so many things going on that Thursday. I had a handover going out that afternoon, 2 more cars to get MOT because they were going out over the weekend. I really didn't have time just to sit down and focus just solely on this. There are many other things at play, and it takes up so much of your energy when you're dealing with customers like that. And it was never going to get anywhere different than the resolution of me having this car back. I knew that from the off, because of just the type of person that you're dealing with. So in terms of my own sanity and my own week/weekend of getting things done, genuinely, the easiest route is go, do you know what? I've tried doing absolutely everything that you want. What is it that will just get this to settle down so that we can take control of it? And it was the solution that we came up with of just get her into the BMW, we can have this back, and we can still discuss the financials, because obviously the finance company don't unwind the deal until both parties have agreed to accept the conditions of doing so. So the good news is we do have a recovery of funds, not the entire amount. We should realistically have more, and we could take it down the legal route still, but I don't have the time, unfortunately, because we are just the two of us as a team running around getting everything done. And I just want to get this car sorted, because I'm not allowed to touch it if there's a court case going on or anything like that. And we'd rather just move things along for our own sanity and just cut people like that as quickly as we can away from us. But the good news is we have managed to recover a few hundreds of pounds to be able to contribute towards the cost of getting it fixed. And that is what I want to do in this video as well. I want to show you how we prepare our cars and how we still hold ourselves to a very, very high standard. So I'll show you some bits in just a moment that we are going to get sorted throughout the week. It is also worth noting that she didn't take it the same day that she came into the showroom. We did get a quick turnaround. It was only a couple of days later, but that did give us the time to take it for an MOT, as we do with all of our cars, and we did manage to slow it down just a little bit. But yeah, there's a couple of bits that Virtue was saying about the brakes as well, which I want to show you. So there is no mechanical fault on this vehicle. All I've done is driven this back from Virtue Exeter. Just need to move my seats. Okay, so I start it there, look. Got to have your foot on the brake to start it. There's no warning lights, they all go out as it should. And my foot is firmly on the brake. And that pumps, it's definitely not anywhere near going to the floor. So I knew there was nothing wrong with the brakes. They're just trying to fleece either me or scare the customer for whatever reason that it needs the brakes doing. So that is the braking thing, because we've had a few comments saying, you know, that I haven't shown you properly, and now I have. So alloys, we're getting them done tomorrow, again with Tony, because he does an absolutely fantastic job. And bearing in mind, as I say, she'd had this 2 weeks and then noticed a vibration, which is why she then went into Virtue. And they do have available slots for people just to pull up, because of course their workshops aren't going to be massively busy at their extortionate rates. So they do leave some slots for people to be able to pull in. If I'd noticed vibration of wheel balancing the day that I'd driven off the forecourt, I'd be turning around as anyone would and saying there's a vibration that needs to be looked at because it's there. That wasn't the case. She'd had it for a couple of weeks and obviously bashed about the wheels, of which that's then caused a vibration and wheel weights to come off. So we are getting the wheels done tomorrow. And obviously there's one on the other side. So I'll introduce you to Tony, and he'll obviously balance the wheels, because he does it every single time we get alloys done, and we get a lot of alloys done with that man because he is very, very good. We have also cleaned up the inside quite a lot over the weekend. Soph always does a fantastic job, so it's now looking a load better than it was. But the paintwork, now that it's had a wash, it's really quite scratched all the way down the side. I'm hoping you can see it on the camera as much as you can see it in person. It's hard to get across on a darker colour, but you can see all of those lines. That is not considered to be fair wear and tear in my book. So you have to bear in mind as well that when I've made the snap decision to agree to doing the swap back, it's like, okay, well, you've had it 2 weeks, it cannot possibly be that bad, but it was. And again, more for me, but again, knowing full well I had a little bit in my back pocket, of which we then come to an agreement on this side as well. So I've now got to take time to polish that. It's me that does it. I don't do a bad job, I don't think. I did it the first time around. So yeah, I need to crack on with that at some point. But the difficulty is I also have 15 other cars to attend to. We sold a Land Rover Discovery over the weekend, so we've got to get that one prepared with a service and an MOT as we normally do. And I've also got to go and collect another Range Rover, so I've got to go and get up my trailer in just a moment to go and pick that one up. So there's cars that I've sold over the weekend, which is great news, and they all need attending to. I can't just put all of my time into this. So I've got to go out. As I said, it's Monday, it's midday now. I've got to go out for a few hours to run around, which means that I can't really get onto this. let alone sit down and try and come up with a court case. And I appreciate all of your support as well. I've had so many people reaching out to me over the weekend, and it sounds kind of corny, but I do appreciate it. I've not been able to get back to everyone, and I really do appreciate your support in all of this. But I'm excited to show you what we do to get this back to what it needs to be. I've also had someone reach out, and I bought a glass roof for a Range Rover L494 as well, something I could not find. So the power of YouTube's worked its wonders there. That'll be here this week, and I've spoken to the windscreen chap who's versed in doing all sorts of windows, not just windscreens, and he's happy to come in later this week, and we're going to do the swap on that to make sure that that's right as well. So yeah, we will get it back to its glory. I'm very much positive of that, and yeah, stick with it. Let's get going. Back into the showroom. It's just coming up 3 p.m. So I've done a few hours of running around, collected a Range Rover, took the sold Discovery down to the workshop, so that's going to have its service before it goes for an MOT either tomorrow or Wednesday. But I thought I'll get the polisher out and make a start on this, because it does take a good few hours to get what we want. I've got two types of polish, a slightly more gritty, thicker cut to get rid of the marks in the deep paint, and then a lighter polish to make it all nice and shiny at the end of it. So it does have to be done properly, and it does take a fair bit of time, but we'll get into it. It is now a 5:45, of which I've been on this for literally a smidge under 3 hours, but I am very pleased because it is now starting to look as it should. So we'll start with the worst side. It's very good polish that we use, but that is now looking back to its mirror finish as what it was before it went out. So that's all really, really good. Same on the other side. This one wasn't as bad. It still took quite a bit of going over. But as you can see on the reflection, it's all really good. I've not done the bonnet yet, and I still need to do the rear tailgate. The bonnet wasn't that bad, which it shouldn't be, because you don't drive through hedges, you drive down the side of hedges, but it is now looking loads better. I'm going to now take this over to Torbay Powder Coat so that they've got it for first thing in the morning on their side, because we've got a bit of running around to do tomorrow. So I may as well do that tonight to make sure that he's got that. We'll do a bit of a change around on the forecourt to bring another car in here that I need to do some prep on tomorrow. But yeah, very, very pleased that I've at least got that bit done. And I'm looking forward to getting the alloys done. And I'll introduce you to Tony tomorrow, who does the job. Also worth noting, actually, that a couple of local companies, we just were curious as to what they would charge for a full size or a large SUV as this one is. And they're £350 upwards. So yeah, maybe I should be putting a charge on these things, but obviously it's for our own stock, so we can't do that. Long process, but worth doing. Okay, so we're at Tony's unit, Torbay Powder Coats. I've got Liam, one of Tony's chaps, with us now, and he's obviously got the Range Rover on its axle stand. So the idea is actually we're going to get all four done, because Liam very unfortunately found that the driver's one had actually previously been touched in, which wouldn't have been me because I had these guys refurbish the alloys previously. So we're going to take you into the workshop, show you around a little bit.
Right guys, so we supply tyres, any size, anything you need. We sort it out, we order it in for you if we haven't got it in stock. We also do calipers. They go in a BMW M Sport caliper blue. These are a set of Mustang wheels that we've just done. Come out this morning, fresh out the oven. So we do all sorts. We've got every colour you could probably think of. Satin, gloss, matte. CNC machine. This will do all your diamond cutting.
I reckon it's about 50 grand or so, that machine.
Yeah, I believe so, mate. We do all our welding, so crack repairs are done over here. Buckle machine, It's where all your buckles are taken out, repaired, prep station. So we take out all your curb marks, sand any little blemishes, your corrosion, we sort that out. That's our sandblaster. So everything gets sandblasted before it gets sprayed. One of the other expensive machines in here, it's about 25, 30, if I'm along the right lines. Wouldn't be able to do it without it. Here we've got the siphoner, so it takes the oil out of the oil and water out of the lines, keeps all the air nice and clean. You've got Tony over there spraying a wheel ready for its colour. That's the grey primer. Our brand new ovens, lovely ovens, a lot more easy to work with. That's the oven we actually started with, which has got us through some absolute rough times. Here we go, Tony pulling another one out there. Just non-stop.
And then obviously after that, fit the tyre back on, tyre machine over here. And then you do the wheel balancing as well, don't you?
Yeah, wheel balancing down the end there, exactly what Kieran's doing. So we'll show him what Kieran's doing.
Yeah.
So here we make sure there's no paint on the back of the wheel where the wheel bolts up to the hub. Just keeps everything secure and safe. Then it goes on the balancer. Once it's on the balancer, it takes its trip outside and it gets bolted back on the car.
Okay, so back from Tony's, I'll be able to collect that Range Rover later, but I've just taken delivery of this. And I can't believe how well it's packaged. So it is obviously the glass roof that I bought for £500, which is a damn sight better than £1,200 that I can't even get because of the whole JLR thing. And it looks to be in excellent condition. So I've let Simon know, who's the windscreen chap or the window chap, who's going to come later this week to fit it. But it was so well packaged. So obviously, as you can see, got a massive crate, had all of this cardboard surrounding it and boards either side of the glass to keep it. But yes, very, very pleased. I was a little bit worried as to how obviously you're going to transport an entire glass roof without it being cracked, but they've done an excellent job of that. We'll get the Range Rover later. I'll show you the alloys all done. And then obviously Simon will be in and we'll figure out whether we're going to fit the whole mechanism or whether we do cut out the glass or, you know, unseal that glass and seal it onto the new one. All right, back at Torbay Powder Coats with the main man, Tony himself. And as you can see, these alloys are looking absolutely fantastic as they were before it went out and back to new.
A lot better than yesterday.
Yeah, definitely better than yesterday. This is the main man. We've been working together 5 years or so.
Yeah, about 5 years now, yeah.
Been in this unit only for about a year now. It was over in Stoke Gabriel beforehand where you probably do 2-3 cars a day.
Yeah.
Now you're doing...
It's about 5 and 6 now,
yeah.
so yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you're doing a lot of the main dealers in the local area.
Yeah, we do Oceans, we do Fork Liddens.
Do Rev Comps, which a lot of you probably know,
Big company.
which is obviously a huge company. They do competition cars and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, just absolutely professional all around. Does all the calipers and everything if you want him to as well. Got all of the equipment, started doing tyres recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, really appreciate it, mate.
Thanks very much.
Always.
Cheers.
Probably getting, what, a set done a week, something like that?
Yeah, at least for you.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
I've just taken the Range Rover up to 70 miles an hour on our local dual carriageway, and would you believe it, the vibration is no longer there. So it literally was a simple case of wheel balancing, and of course, where the damage has been incurred on the alloys, it's very likely that wheel weights have fallen off, which is going to cause the vibration that the customer was initially worried about. But the alloys are all now looking brand new again, as he always does a fantastic job. Did all four, so they're all matching, excellent. And now what I'm going to do, because it's in the off-road height, is I'm going to clean the inner arches again, now that it's all in the off-road height, to make sure that they're all clean and what they need to be. And I've also had a development on the sunroof glass as well. So someone else who had watched the first video, the part one of this saga, if you like, they've reached out to me. They're only about an hour away from me, and they have just taken a rear glass out of an L494. So that could potentially be a better option for me, only because my worry is I spent £500 on the entire mechanism with both bits of glass. If I cut the rear glass out, what am I going to do with the rest of it? It's going to be a little bit more difficult. No one's going to buy it just with the front glass. I think you're only realistically buying that if you need the whole mechanism and everything to go with it. As against this one's going to be slightly cheaper, so it's £200 for just the rear glass, and also half the job's already been done because it's already been cut out and they're professionals that have taken it out. It'll be far easier for Simon to take this broken one out and replace it with that one, and then I can sell that one on for hopefully what I paid for it. That's going to be my initial plan. But I'll get these wheel arches cleaned, and then I'll keep you updated as to whether we go and get that bit of glass. To say they're only about an hour away, so it could work out quite well if I set off early morning to be back up here and open up. We'll catch you up. A slightly later start than we had anticipated. Unfortunately, we've been up for most of the night with one of the boys. They're not feeling so good. So he stayed home, and obviously Soph's staying with him. So it's just me and Loki, and we're going to go up to the other side of Yeovil to get this roof glass. Yeah. Bit of a throwback. It used to be just me and Loki in the showroom when it first started for the first 3 or so years over in Ifflepen. So yeah. It is Friday, people. We're very close to the weekend. Not that it means much to me because I'll be in over the weekend anyway. But Loki and I, we collected that roof glass yesterday. Had a really careful drive back to, of course, not make sure that we don't get any damage on it. So this is in fantastic condition, and of course a much easier job because it's already been cut out of the frame. But I thought, well, I'll keep that one for a second just in case there's an issue with fitting that one and it cracks or something like that. We do have a spare for the time being. So Simon will be here shortly to fit that. Obviously we can see it's broken there. So he's going to fit that, and then I've got a few more appointments today, so I'm going to try and help him where I can. But we do have extra appointments today and a handover tomorrow that I need to get the car sorted for. So there's a lot of running back and forth to the MOT station, etc. But very, very pleased that we managed to get this done so quick within the week, and I'm really hoping that obviously it doesn't hang around for too long because we've got it back up to the standards that we like it. So after Simon's been in, we're going to go through the costings of what it's cost me to get it back to what it needed to be, and then also what the resolution was and the amount that we were able to settle on. So yeah, let's get the glass done first.
This is how tough they are.
Now we are talking. The Range Rover is finally back up to the standards that it would have been before it went out. So obviously the alloys are all looking fantastic. It's had its full machine body polish, which I'm really, really pleased with how that's come up. And of course Simon's just been in doing that rear glass and the sunroof, so that now looks all as it should be, which is great. Also had a couple of appointments as mentioned at a really nice chap called Carl, aka the Jag Chav, as he likes to be called. He's just purchased this lovely Jaguar XK, which we're going to be delivering to him next week after we've got that one serviced and MOT'd. So he is a fan of the channel. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'm of course really thankful that you bought a Jaguar from us. But back to the Range Rover, it is looking absolutely stunning. There's no denying that they are a very good looking car, and it's all looking as it should. All the inner arches and everything are all clean. The glass is all done. The interior valet as well. So it's now all looking a load better. So very, very pleased with it. Very, very comfortable selling it because I don't think it'll be around for too long, just because it is a very nice Range Rover and we do very well with them. So yeah, we'll then get into the financials of it. Okay, so the whole unwind process happened last Thursday, and it happened really quite quickly. We had a load of stuff to get done before the weekend, and I didn't need someone blowing up my phone every 10 minutes complaining about a car that didn't really have too much of an issue. So I just wanted to take control as quickly as I could. But as I've already mentioned, I did have it in my back pocket regarding the finance side of things. I didn't know exactly how it worked, but I knew that there was a process to go through. So I thought, well, at least I've got that to kind of sit down and go through when the time comes to it. And one of the questions that they asked is, has the vehicle sustained any damage? And I said yes. And then they go, okay, you're going to need to get a list of costings for us to be able to kind of go through, and we can either agree or disagree that it needs to be reimbursed / sorted, whatever it needs to be. fine, no problem at all. So I've got a list here of the costings of what it would have been for external companies and also the companies that have been doing the bits to get this Range Rover back to what it was. So the polishing side of things, I am very fortunate that I can do that myself. I do it on quite a lot of our cars, but for an external company to do that, that'd be £350. A full valet on the inside and the outside for business rates tends to be about £75. The alloys were £400, and of course they were balanced and everything like that all at the same time. The sunroof glass, I got that for a bit of a bargain from, thank you Simon, and also Simon to fit it. So 2 Simons in that scenario for supplying and also fitting. So that was £200, and then to fit it was £100. And as you can see, that is all now looking absolutely splendid, which is good. So to add all of that up with very quick maths, 300, 700, well, that'd be 1,050. It'd be 1,125 to have all of that done via external companies. But it also takes a little bit of time going through that process with the finance company as well. Could take a couple of weeks before the finance agreement is then settled off. And again, it is, you know, just my wife and I here, and we've got loads of other things going on and 15 or so cars to kind of go through. I don't really want this car sat here waiting to do all of that. So had another conversation with the customer. I says, I am very, very happy to go down this route if need be. I'd rather not. And she also said she'd rather not. She'd contest it. She'd do all the usual things. And again, that can just drag things out. So in some ways, we have got some financial clawback, which is good because we can just put it to bed, get the car back to what it needs to be and go on again, which I think the reality is, the numbers don't sound too great, but the reality is it is an easier way for us to kind of go forward doing this. But we agreed £425 would be reimbursed to me directly from them, and then that would then mean that the deal is unwound, which means the finance agreement gets taken off this Range Rover and we can then sell it again. So £425, I wasn't best pleased with it, but it is definitely better than nothing. And as I say, the £350 and the valet of £75 and the polishing, etc., that we don't actually charge. That's a love of labour from our side of it, if you call it that. So it realistically has costed the £200 and the £100. So £200 for the sunroof, the £100 to fit it, so £300, and then the alloys were £400. So £700 in total was physically cost us, and we've got over half of that back. So we can't complain too much about that. And there we have it. That is the Range Rover all sorted. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really appreciate, I mean, the last video took off and I got loads of subscribers and comments and views. So I really do appreciate everyone that's taken the time to do so. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel after this video too. Much appreciated. Hope to see you for the next one. I'm thinking I'm going to start the weekly vlogs up again. If that is of interest to you, let me know in the comments.